morning, everyone, and welcome to Carnival Radio Breakfast Show. This is Carnival Radio Newspaper Review. I am Ibrahim Adebayo. These are the headlines in the news. Protest. Hosting foreign flags in Nigeria. Treasonable, says Tinubu. Tinubu broadcast. Protest. Continue demonstration in Lagos, Osun. Protest. Kaduna Zaria boil. Over 700 billion lost in 5 days. Hasbon. Kashima. Coffee in Kaduna, Bauchi, Plateau after looting of bank businesses. Fuel subsidy is back in Nigeria, says Obasanjo. INEC registers 119,206 in Edo and 58,708 in Ondo State. Now the news in full. Protest. Hosting foreign flags in Nigeria. Treasonable. As the nationwide protests against hunger and bad governance entered the fifth day yesterday, President Bola Tinubu summoned a National Security Council meeting where issues of security threats to the country were discussed. The security meeting, which held at the presidential office at the State House in Abuja, also looked into the new trend of protesters hosting the Russian flag in some states in the north. Briefing State House correspondents at the end of the security meeting, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, described as treasonable offense the hosting of Russian flags in the cities of Nigeria. The Chief of Defense Staff also ruled out any possible coup to remove the democratically elected government, saying that the military will not allow any such attempt to succeed. Recall that some protesters in Kano, Kaduna, Zamfara, Plateau State have hosted the Russian flag in the aforementioned state from Saturday last week. But the Chief of Defense Staff said that those behind such a grievous offense will face the wrath of the law. He says, when we went to brief Mr. President on the situation on ground, I will know that since the riots started, all the security agencies are together. General Musa further said that those of them flying foreign flags, and if you see a lot of them are kids being pushed to do that, we are following up with those sponsoring them. Fielding questions on the issue of the coup being rumored in some quarters, the Chief of Defense Staff said also the issue of coup in Nigeria. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. Nigeria is a democratic nation. All security agencies are here to defend democracy and ensure that democracy continue to thrive. Asked to clarify the allegation that some soldiers partook in the looting in some states, the Chief of Defense Staff said, no, I think it has been cleared. I think, he said, and I quote, I think it was also a misconception. They actually have seen those things and they wanted to clear them. away from the area, and that is what was done. Among the securities and law enforcement agency held participating are the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and the 3 service chiefs, as well as Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. Also in the meeting are the Director General of the Department of State Service, DSS, Yusuf Bichi, Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, NIA, Ahmad Rufai, Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Colonel Adewale Adeniyi, as well as Controller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Kemi Nana Nadab. For more information on the news, you can visit the Vanguard newspaper. Protest: Austin foreign flags in Nigeria treasonable, says Tinubu. Tinubu broadcast: protesters continue demonstration in Lagos, Osun. Despite call by President Bola Tinubu to suspend further protests in the country, the organizer of the End Bad Governance protest in Lagos and Osun State yesterday resumed peaceful demonstration, while the Lagos protesters converge on the Gani Fawehinbi Freedom Park in Ojota area. Those in Osun State resume at the convergence point at the Freedom Park in Osogbo. They, however, lampooned the president over his broadcast, saying the president cannot offer an olive branch while at the same time holding a dagger to our throat, says protesters. Tinubu, in a State of the Nation broadcast, had acknowledged the protester concern and urged them to suspend further demonstrations and embrace dialogue. Reacting to the broadcast, the End Bad Governance in Nigeria Organizing Committee, in a statement by Hassan Taiwo, Ayoyinka Oni, and Adeboyega Adeniji said they were disappointed over the president's speech. The statement read, and I quote, "We consider the president's decision to address the nation as important victory for our movement." Quote continue, "Without our courage and resolve to dare the hard, even this acknowledgement would not have happened. So far, we have demonstrated that a president is not greater than the rest of the country." Meanwhile, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, who presided over the Executive Council meeting, commended the protesters, the protest organizer in Lagos, for calling off the protest following the president broadcast. Addressing newsmen at the Lagos House in Ikeja, the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotoso, said there is peace in Lagos State as workers are fully resumed work. In Osun State, as the protest entered its 5th day, economic activity resumed as some bank offers skeletal services to their customers. Market and shop owners resumed normal activities in major business districts including Olaya, Old Garage, Okefia, Igbona, Ayetoro, Ojaoba, Ilesha Garage, Alekuwodo, and among others. The protesters, in their public awareness move through Old Garage, Ajegule, Olonkoro, Igbona, and Ayetoro to stadium, where the road was blocked for several hours. The team returned to Olaya through the route, where the procession terminated at 3 p.m. Speaking during the protest, the coordinator of the Coalition for Concerned Nigerian Citizens, Mr. Ajala Adetunji, clarified that the end of bad governance protest is not to winch hunt any government, but to fight bad policies. He called on both the state and federal government to come out with sincere programs to tackle the hardship in the country. Commending the protesters for their peaceful conduct, Governor Ademola Adeleke, in a statement by his spokesperson Olawale Rashid, said his administration is working hard to make life more meaningful for the masses. For more details on the news, you can visit the Vanguard newspaper. Tinubu broadcast. Protesters continue demonstrations in Lagos, Osun. Protest Kanu, Kaduna Zaria boils. Over 700 billion lost in 5 days. Asborn, Kashima says. The nationwide protest against hunger in the country turned rituals in Kaduna State and Zaria, compelling the state to declare a dusk to dawn coffee. Aside from Kaduna State, the protests also continue in Lagos, Abuja, Jos, Benin, Kano, Zamfara, despite President Bola Tinubu nationwide broadcast on Sunday. Meanwhile, losses to the economy have been estimated at over 700 billion naira in the first 5 days of the protest against hardship, while over 600 billion was recorded in Lagos State. Kano lost over 100 billion. The Association of Small Businesses Owners of Nigeria, Asborn, and Kano Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Kashima, declared yesterday miscreants hijack protest, loot shops in Kaduna. Miscreants and other criminal elements hijacked the protest in Kaduna, unleashing terror on unsuspecting citizens by breaking into shops and snatching cell phones. One of the miscreants in Cow area of Kaduna North met his water loom as a mob beat him to stupor before handing him to the security operatives. The hoodlums also stopped vehicle going in and out of the state capital from the Zaria Road, axis, molesting passengers and forcibly seized phones and other valuables while brandishing dangerous weapons. A procession of protesters, comprising mainly youth, children, and women, and hosting the flag of Russia, moved to Kawo to join other protesters and tried to occupy Nepa roundabout in the heart of the city. They were subsequently dispersed by security operatives when the miscreants among them started burgling shops and looting. So they drafted hoodlums overpower security operative coffee imposed. Meanwhile, there were heavy fights between miscreants in Tudunwada, Kaduna, and security operative as the youth continued to emerge in large numbers, destroying properties and looting shops. It was the intervention of the military that restored sanity in the area, even though hoodlums had reportedly taken over an armed personnel carrier earlier deployed to the area to scare them away. Before the military arrived, hundreds of miscreants hurled stones and other objects at the commercial banks near the Polytechnic, vandalized staff cars, and stole valuables. Activities came to an abrupt end in the area as customers and other workers were seen scampering for their lives in Tudunwada, which was tense before COVID was imposed and soldiers deployed to the area. The police had earlier warned that anyone found vandalizing or looting shop would not be considered a protester but criminal. Police had arrested a number of persons who were supplying the protesters with Russian flags and other offensive items during the protest. Businesses in Kano incurred over 100 billion losses, Kasima. Similarly, the former deputy president, Kano State Chambers of Commerce, Mine and Agriculture, Usman Dama, said losses incurred in the state within the 5 days of the protest was well over 100 billion naira. Similarly, the president of the Nigerian largest grain market, Dawanu Muntaka Isa, put the losses incurred by the market from the commencement of the protest till date at over 2 billion naira. Recovering from the protest will be difficult, Abuja Chambers of Commerce says. For more details on the news, you can visit the Vanguard newspaper. Protest. Kaduna Zaria boil over 700 billion naira lost in 5 days, says Asbon and Kashiba. Coffee in Kaduna Bauchi Plateau after looting of bank businesses. Kaduna, Bauchi and Plateau states were put under coffee blankets yesterday following mass looting during the economic crisis protest. The protest in the north, a region that has been reeling under serious terrorism and bandit attack, took a turn for the worse, forcing governors of the affected state to take tough measures. The Plateau State government, Caleb Mutfwang, imposed a 24-hour curfew on Jos North local government on Sunday night to curb escalating violence. The protest led by the General Overseer of the Evangelicals Outreach, Ebomi Isa Ebuba, and the National Coordinator of Initiative for Better and Brighter Nigeria, former Minister of Sports Solomon Dalon, commenced on a spiteful note. The state government had even commended them on a peaceful protest, but on Sunday things went awry when a strange group of protesters appeared in some parts of Jos North while the first set was on break. The latter group held up Russian flags and unleashed violence, while the original group converged daily at Old Airport roundabout in Jos. The new violent group moved from street to street, looting property. They invaded Bauchi Road in Zololo, Dilimi, Zambolai, Vilimbo, Congo, Russia, Agwan, Rogo, and Environ. Mutfwang guest Governor Mutfwang said the coffee was with Yvette from Sunday midnight. He said it was declared in consultation with state security agencies after reviewing the actions of unscrupulous individuals who exploited the nationwide protest to unleash terror on citizens. The governor noted that this criminal element, armed with dagger, machetes, and other dangerous weapons, broke into shops, restaurants along Bauchi Road and Sololo Junction, looting foodstuffs and other valuable items. He warned those planning to unleash further terror on the innocent citizen to desist immediately or face the full wrath of the law. The group of violent protesters, mostly underage fundamentalists, drove the curfew and continued with their looting yesterday. Governor Mutfwang also convened a Security Council meeting yesterday, after which the Commissioner of Police, Emmanuel Additional, said 14 individuals were arrested for violating curfew. Ebuba footed the curfew claiming it was an attempt to steal citizen voice. As protests who regrouped in Kaduna yesterday embarked on looting spree, the state government declared 24-hour curfew on Kaduna and Zaria metropolis. The protesters marched on the major streets of Kaduna and Zaria, waving Russian flags. For more details on the news, you can visit the Nation newspaper. Coffee in Kaduna Bauchi Plateau after looting of bank businesses. Fuel subsidy back in Nigeria. Former President of Nigeria and Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has said the fuel subsidy removed in June 2023 by President Bola Tinubu administration has come back due to inflation. Obasanjo disclosed this in a recent interview with the Financial Times. He fought out Tinubu administration removed fuel subsidy. According to him, the government should have put measures in place before this fuel subsidy removal. He says, and I quote, "There is a lot of work that needed to be done. Not just wake up on one morning and say you remove the subsidy. Because of inflation, the subsidy that we have removed is not gone. It has come back," the former president stressed. He said there must be investors' confidence in Nigeria. He said, and I quote, "You have to go from transactional economic to transformational economy." His remark comes amidst the ongoing hunger protest in Nigeria. The protest, which commenced on Thursday, entered day 5 on Monday, with a major demand for the return of the fuel subsidy regime. However, President Tinubu, in his Sunday broadcast, while appealing to protesters to suspend demonstrations, said his administration decisions to remove fuel subsidy is painful but necessary, as it constituted a noose around the economic jugular of our nation and impeded our economic development and progress. Reports that core inflation increased to all-time high of 34.9% and 40.867% in June 2024, according to National Bureau of Statistics. For more details on the news, you can visit the Daily Post newspaper. Fuel subsidy is back in Nigeria. Obasanjo. INEC registers 119,206 in Edo State and 58,708 in Ondo State. The Independent National Electoral Commission said yesterday that about 177,014 voters will be added to the list of eligible voters for the off-cycle governorship election in Edo State and Ondo State later in the year. A figure released by the commission shown that 92,098 out of 269,992 citizens that have shown up for the exercise did not meet the requirements for registration during the exercise and were screened out of the registered. A statement said the final list of eligible voters and dates for collections of permanent voters card in the two states will be announced very soon. The statement, signed by the National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumeko, said the figure did not include 8,847 applications for transfer into Edo State and 3,132 into Ondo State from other states because they are already part of the registered voters. Before the continuous voters registration, which ended on June 9 ahead of the elections in the two states, there were 2,501,081 voters, registered voters in Edo State, out of which 2,128,288 collected their PVC. Similarly, Ondo State had 1,991,344 registered voters, out of which 1,729,641 collected their PVC. The statement further said Nigeria may recall that in our statement in June 11, we released preliminary figures of the newly registered voters for the upcoming Edo and Ondo State governorship election before the period for the claim and adoption, followed by the cleaning up of the data using automated biometric identification system. For more details on the news, you can visit the Nation newspaper. INEC registered 119,206 in Edo State and 58,708 in Ondo State. Before we bring the newspaper review to a close, here are the headlines in the news. Tinubu broadcast: protests continue in Ogun, in Lagos and Lagos State. Protests hosting foreign flags in Nigeria treasonable, says Tinubu. Protest: Kaduna Zaria boys, over 700 billion naira lost in 5 days. Coffee in Kaduna, Bauchi Plateau after looting of bank businesses. Fuel subsidy back in Nigeria, says Obasanjo. INEC registered 119,206 in Edo State and 58,708 in Ondo State. And that ends the newspaper review on Carnival Radio. I am Ibrahim Adebayo. Thank you so much for listening. You can download the Carnival Media app from the Google Play Store and iOS App Store. Do enjoy the rest of your morning.